Costumes. For me, Halloween is the best holiday in the world. It even beats Christmas. I get to dress up in the costume. I get to wear the mask. I get to I get to dress up in a costume. I get to wear a mask. I get to go around like every other kid with a mask and nobody think I look weird. Nobody takes a second look. Nobody notices me. Nobody knows me. I wish every day could be Halloween. We could all wear masks all the time, and then we could walk around that, get to know each other before we got to see what we look like under the masks. When I was little, I used to wear an astronaut helmet everywhere I went. To the playground, the supermarket, to pick Vera up from school, even in the middle of summer, though it was so hot, my face would sweat. I think I wore it for a couple of years, but I had to stop wearing it when I had my eye surgery. I was about 7, I think. And then we couldn't find the helmet after that. Mom looked everywhere for it. She figured that it had probably ended up in Grand's attic. Grand's attic. Figured out. She figured that it probably ended up in Grand's attic, and she kept meaning to look for it. But by then I had gotten used to not wearing it. I have pictures of me in all my Halloween costumes. My first Halloween I was a pumpkin. My second I was Tigger. My third I was Peter Pan. My dad dressed up as Captain Hook. My fourth I was Captain Hook. My dad dressed up as Peter Pan. My fifth I was an astronaut. My sixth I was Obi-Wan Kenobi. My seventh I was a clone trooper. My eighth I was Darth Vader. My ninth I was the bleeding scream, the one that has fake blood oozing out. Bleeding scream, blood, the one that has fake blood oozing out over the skull mask. This year I'm going to be Boba Fett. Not Boba Fett, the kid in Star Wars Episode 3, Attack of the Clones, but Boba Fett, the man from Star Wars Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back. Mom searched everywhere for the costume but couldn't find one in my size, so she bought me a Jango Fett costume. Since Jango was Boba's dad and wore the same armor and then painted the armor green. She did some other stuff to it to make it look worn, too. Anyway, it looks totally real. Mom's good at costumes. In homeroom, we all talked about what we are going to be for Halloween. Charlotte was going as Hermione. Charlotte was going as Hermione from Harry Potter. Jack was going as an old man. I heard that Julian was going as Jango Fett, which was which was a weird coincidence. I don't think he liked hearing that I was going as Boba Fett. On the morning of Halloween, Via had this big crying meltdown about something. Via's always been so calm and cool, but this year she's had a couple of these kind of fits. Dad was late for work and was like, Via, let's go, let's go. Usually Dad is super patient about things, but now when it comes to his being late for work, and he's yelling just stressed out Via even more, and she started crying louder. So Mom told Dad to take me to school, and Dad should deal with Via. Then Mom kissed me goodbye quickly, before I even put on my costume, and disappeared into Via's room. Augie, let's go now, said Dad. I have a meeting I can't believe I can be late but I have a meeting I can't be late for. I haven't put my costume on yet. So put it on already. 5 minutes. I'll meet you outside. I rushed to my room and started to put on the Boba Fett costume, but all of a sudden I didn't feel like wearing it. I'm not sure why. Maybe because it had all these belts that needed to be tightened and I needed someone's help to put it on. Or maybe it was because it still smelled a little like paint. All I knew was that it was a lot of work to put the costume on. And Dad was waiting and would get super impatient if I made him late. So at the last minute, I threw on the bleeding scream costume from last year. It was such an easy costume. Just a long black robe and a big white mask. I yelled goodbye from the door on my way out, but Mom didn't even hear me. I thought you were going as Jango Fett, said Dad when I got outside. Boba Fett, whatever, said Dad. There's a better costume anyway. Yes, it's cool, I answered. The bleeding scream. Walking through the holes that morning on my way to the lockers was, I have to say, absolutely awesome. Everything was different now. I was different. Where I usually walked with my head down trying to avoid being seen, today I walked with my head up, looking around. I wanted to be seen. One kid wearing the same exact costume as mine, long white skull face, oozing fake red blood, high-fived me as we passed each other on the stairs. I have no idea who he was, and he had no idea who I was, and I wondered for a second if we would have even done that, if he would known it was me under the mask. I was starting to think this was going to go down as one of the most awesome days in the history of my life. But then I got to homeroom. The first costume I saw as I walked inside the door was Darth Sidious. It had one of the rubber masks that are so realistic, with a big black hood over the head and a long black robe. I knew right away it was Julian, of course. He must have changed his costume at the last minute because he thought I was coming as Jango Fett. He was talking to two mummies who must have been Miles and Honey. And they were all kind of looking at the door like they were waiting for someone come to through it. I knew it was a bleeding scream they were looking for. It was a Boba Fett. It was a Boba Fett. I was I was going to go and sit at my usual desk, but for some reason, I don't know why, I found myself walking over the desk near them, and I could hear them talking. One of the mummies was saying, "It really does look like him."